Welcome, welcome, welcome to In the Kitchen with Q. I am absolutely thrilled you can pull up a chair and join me today for our very first episode. And trust me, it's going to be a good one. Now, if you're looking for a traditional cooking show, the kind with complete, exact measurements, precise temperatures, and complex knife skills that makes you feel inadequate, well, you can put that where? Back there, way back there, in the dusty corner of the internet. But here at In the Kitchen with Q, we're not about sharing recipes. We're diving into something much deeper, much warmer, and often much more amusing. This show is about the experience of food. It's about the magic that happens when people gather around a table. The whispered stories that get told, the true ones with all their quirks and hilarious imperfections. It's about the laughter that erupts, the connections that get forged, and that profound feeling of belonging. We're painting vivid pictures with sound, sharing heartfelt memories that will resonate with your own, giving you genuinely practical tips for hosting and for being an incredible guest, and exploring the incredible tapestry of food cultures from around the world. We're here to talk about cultivating purpose and belonging through the everyday rituals of home and nourishment. Because let's be honest, our kitchens and dining tables are where life truly happens, aren't they? They're the heart of the home, the unsung heroes of connection. And what better way to start than at the very beginning of my own journey with food and connection? Sunday dinners at my grandmother's house, man, those Sundays, every single Sunday. My grandmother was a force of nature for her floral aprons and just all the zest that she brought. She spent years working in a college kitchen, so she brought that kind of Virgo, no nonsense efficiency to everything. And notably, she only used metal utensils. You can hear those clattering, a rhythmic symphony just as soon as you walked in, a kind of percussion just welcomes you into the environment. The kitchen would be a true symphony of aromas. The fried chicken sizzling, the roasted chicken browning, the collard greens simmering on low with that soulful scent, the ham. As someone who didn't eat ham, I politely avoided. And the mac and cheese bubbling over, just glorious, golden crust. It's making me hungry just thinking about it. My grandmother was the maestro of that beautiful chaos, just orchestrating everything with grace and ease. Never flustered, always in control, and often with a well used metal spoon in her hand, directing traffic like a culinary conductor or something. Those meals taught me so much more than just how to eat. They taught me about community, about showing up for one another, and the profound journey of sharing. It was a sanctuary for where worries were temporarily set aside, where stories were passed down from generation to generation, and where I truly felt what it meant to belong to a family. That simple, consistent act of breaking bread week after week forged deep, unbreakable connections that still ground me today. And speaking of those early days, I still remember my absolute favorite part licking the mixer stems from the cream cheese icing. And I would always have to share one when one of my cousins pulled up, but it was cool. It was cool. It was a sacred duty, that icing. And I remember this one time, I must have been really little and took a big lick and looked at her dead serious. And I said, something ain't right. Turns out she forgot to add a key ingredient. And to this day, my grandmother, who's now in her late 70s, still brings it up with a twinkle in her eye. She'll say something like, remember Quanie told me something ain't right when I was making that carrot cake? He knew. It's just those little moments, those shared hilarious imperfections that truly make a home. So those early moments shaped everything about how I think about bringing people together now. Because to me, hosting at home isn't about perfection. It's about memories. It's about not slaving away for hours to create a Michelin star meal. But trust me, some of my earliest attempts at cooking were historical events that should be preserved in a museum or a culinary disaster archive. Hosting is about connection. It's about opening your space and your heart to people. It's about creating an atmosphere where people really feel loved, really feel seen, really feel validated, welcomed, and deeply nourished, body and soul. It's about knowing that no matter what, people can always stop by and maybe get a plate. Speaking of nourishing atmospheres, I was at my friend Ashley's apartment recently, and she got this incredible energy about her. She's Asian, and her approach to entertaining is just brilliant. Instead of her being stuck in the kitchen, frantically stirring and basting, and she just had all of her guests involved in some capacity. We were all gathered in the kitchen, just laughing and sharing stories, clinking glasses, kikiing. And then at the table, we started making dumplings together. Now, let me be clear. I suck at making dumplings. My little creations look less like delicate parcels and more like, well, something that it needed help. We'll just call it a delicious accident. But it didn't matter. That feeling of shared effort and immediate reward of working together and getting to know people and then eating the fruits of our collective clumsy labor and people fixing up my dumplings. It just created such a warmth, a joyful energy. It moves past simple eating to truly experiencing food together. Her table, by the way, was set so beautifully, covered in gorgeous textiles and little decorative touches, but it felt abundant, not just thrown together. It just looked like a work of art, but one could truly live and enjoy. And that brings me to my first food note for both host and guest on setting the scene. For host, don't stress over elaborate centerpieces or perfectly folded napkins. Focus on creating a space where conversation and laughter can flow freely. And don't sit the two most talkative people next to each other. Maybe it's a great subtle playlist that sets a relaxing mood. Maybe it's a comfortable seating that encourages lingering, or perhaps it's just lighting that's warm, inviting, has a nice glow that makes everyone look amazing and instantly brings the mood down to a more subdued, intimate level. The goal is comfort and connection, not competition. For guests, if you're wondering what to bring beyond a generic bottle of wine, which is always appreciated, don't get me wrong, consider a specialty item, not necessarily something homemade, but something unique that sparks conversation. For example, a delicious artisanal cheese from a local shop, or perhaps some exquisite olives from a place like Despania. And you, yes, you, bring something. Always bring something. Bring something, whether it's your energy, your personality, physical, non physical. Your thoughtful contribution adds to the collective generosity of gathering and instantly creates a shared experience. Another little social strategy that popped into my brain, another food note, the art of the party overlap. Now, this has happened to me several times. If you find yourself with two fantastic invitations for the same night and they overlap, don't stress. Go to the one that starts the earliest, make an appearance, connect. You enjoy the initial buzz and you politely and discreetly leave to go to the next party. It's like a strategic culinary mission, period. Hit the first course, then move to the main. It's about maximizing your social energy without being rude. Also, a great conversation starter when meeting people you don't know, a genuine compliment. Not about their shoes necessarily, unless they're really fantastic, but something about the atmosphere, the food, or a specific detail that shows you're present and appreciative and everybody is feeling seen. This is such a beautiful home. I love that energy, or these dumplings are incredible. Like, what a fun idea. It's simple, it's genuine, and it works every time. And here's another tip for hosting that I tried myself, and it was divine. I hosted New Year's Eve at my place, and instead of filling multiple ice buckets or coolers, I just cleaned out my entire kitchen sink, then filled it with about 6 bags of ice, added bottles of Prosecco, and tossed whole lemons and limes for that fresh, vibrant look and scent. It was beautiful, functional, and just a ridiculously easy way to keep the drinks cold and accessible and out. Kept people out of my fridge, and it was just everything was there. Plus, it just looks so festive and effortless. That sense of shared effort and immediate reward, like those dumplings, creates such a warm, joyful energy. It moves past simply eating and experiencing food together. Another food note, consider the welcome moment. When guests first arrive, they're often a little unsure what to do or where to put their hands or where to put their coat. Have a simple, immediate offering ready. It could be a small bowl of spiced nuts, a platter of artisanal crackers, and a dip, or a ready poured glass of sparkling water or a light spritzer. It could immediately signal hospitality, and gives them something to engage with while they settle in and you finish up any last minute touches. It's a subtle act of care that sets a comfortable tone. Beyond my own kitchen, I've always been fascinated with how food acts as a cultural anchor, a living history book, so to say. It's not about just sustenance, it's storytelling, tradition, and identity. When we explore food from different cultures, we're not just learning about ingredients. We're understanding people, where they come from, their values, their history, and their deep rooted connections. Take, for instance, the profound significance of a tea ceremony in various Asian cultures, like the meticulous preparation in a Japanese ceremony or the communal sharing of a Chinese ceremony. It's not about just brewing a drink, it's a meditative ritual, a moment of profound connection, respect, mindfulness that can last for hours. Every gesture, every pour has meaning. It's a testament to patience and shared presence. Or consider the journey of certain spices across continents, like how black pepper, originating from India, became so valuable it was once called black gold, shaping ancient trade routes and profoundly influencing cuisine across Europe, Africa, and beyond for centuries. I mean, it's a testament, man, to how global our kitchens truly are, even if we don't realize it. When we grab that shaker, every spice holds a story of exploration, exchange, and cultural blending. This brings me to another food note. For hosts who want to dive into cultural education without being bogged down into complex recipes, consider a tasting journey party. Instead of cooking, ask each guest to bring a small store bought item or a simple dish that represents a part of their own heritage or a culture they admire. And the catch is they have to tell a story about it. What does that food mean to them? What memory does it evoke? Is it a comfort food? Is it from their childhood, a celebratory dish, or something symbolic? It makes the food a springboard for rich conversation, genuine connection, and a fascinating learning. And it takes all the pressure off of you as the host, turning your guests into active participants and storytellers. One more food note on the art of post meal lingering. In many cultures, the meal doesn't end when the plates are cleared. It's about conversation that unfolds afterwards. As a host, create an environment for this. Have a pot of coffee or herbal tea ready, perhaps get creative, anything goes. Or simply just dim the light slightly and put on some soft music. Resist the urge to just immediately rush everyone out. This lingers the moment. Trust me. When people are relaxed and full, they often want to chill, and that's when the deepest connections and the most memorable conversations start to happen. It's about savoring the presence of each other. That's the kind of exploration In the Kitchen with Q is all about. It's about broadening our understanding, expanding our palettes, and deepening our appreciation for the incredible diversity of human experience, all through the lens of food and the rituals we create around it. So, as we wrap up our very first episode, I hope you're feeling inspired to look at your own home, your own kitchen, and your own mealtime rituals a little differently. Cultivating purpose and belonging doesn't require grand gestures or extravagant meals. It happens in these simple, everyday acts of home and nourishment. It's in the laughter shared over a really good meal, the quiet comfort of a morning coffee, the generous spread laid out for friends, the subtle sense of spices. These are the moments where we truly connect, where we feel grounded, and where our sense of purpose deepens. In this season, we'll continue to explore these themes, diving into more memories, more hosting tips, and more incredible cultural insight. And yes, I absolutely cannot wait to bring some incredible guests into the kitchen with me. I've got a wish list as long as my arm, filled with fascinating people from all walks of life, ready to share their own unique stories and perspectives on food, home, and connection. Just imagine the conversations with someone like Mark from Cali, just about pizza. I can't wait. Or a celebrated chef who champions sustainability, talking about the why behind their ingredients, not the how, but the why. We'll be exploring all of it. So for now, I invite you to embrace the warmth, savor the stories, and create your own rituals of home and nourishment. Thank you for joining me on this very first episode of In the Kitchen with Q. If this episode left you feeling warm, connected, and inspired, please hit that subscribe button. Share it with someone who loves to connect around food, and leave us a review. Until next time, keep seeing differently and living fully. And I can't wait to have you back in the kitchen.